Matthew 23:16 through 22. Alas for you blind leaders who say, if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing. But if anyone swears by the temple's gold, he is bound by his oath. Now Jesus will explain this in this last verse I cover, but think about it. The importance of the temple. They're saying that the golden temple is important. The temple wasn't built to contain gold. It was the house of God. So the gold really is nothing. You can put gold in another building, it doesn't make it the temple. Yeah. They're putting a value on something they see as value, taking away what the purpose of the temple was. Well, as long as you don't swear on the gold, you're okay. But you can swear on the house of God, and it means nothing. They're devaluing what the temple meant. And this, I say, these things didn't happen overnight. But this shows where they came from since they rebuilt the temple. They went further away from God, where the temple just meant it was a place where the gold was carried, the valuables. As long as you don't swear on the valuables in it, don't matter what you swear on. You can swear on the priest, ain't nothing. Okay, verse 17. Blind fools, for which is greater, the gold of the temple that renders, or the temple that renders the gold sacred? So he's saying that gold is sacred because it's in the temple. The gold is sacred because it's God's share. It wasn't, you take the gold out of the temple, it's just gold. It's valuable. But you put it in the temple, it's sacred because it's in the temple. Because it belongs to God. God is what made it special. They didn't realize that. Furthermore, you say, if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing. But if he swears by the offering upon it, he is bound by his oath. Now, altars are still important today. Today we still have the altar. Very few times we actually put an offering on the altar. Jesus was our offering, so we didn't have to put him on. We don't have to put offering on the altar. So that shows that altar is still valuable today. The altar is a place where we go to make things right with God and to ask upon God. And we don't have to have an offering to do this because Christ laid himself down. But the things they had to offer meant more to them than getting right with God. What they could give God was more important than having God, really, by them saying this. Blind one, which is greater, the offering or the altar that you render the offering sacred? See, the altar could have been built out of anything. Stones. But it only became an altar when you called upon God. The offering was given to show respect to Him. You didn't necessarily have to give an offering to call upon God. It was just accepted that you did. So one who swears by the altar swears by it and by everything on it. And one who swears by the temple swears by it and by him who occupies it. So he's saying, if you swear by a temple, you swear by God. If you swear by the altar, you swear by the things you're giving to God on the altar. And one who swears by heaven swears by the throne of God and by him who sits upon it. And Jesus in another part says, let your nay be nay and your yea be yea. Don't make oaths. This is the reason why. They were making oaths, and then they made rules on them. Well, if you make an oath to this, you don't got to keep it. If you make an oath on the temple, you don't got to keep it. But if you make it on the golden temple, was going to kill you. And I say these conditions came about because people broke the oath and they wanted not to do anything to them. Yes. He says, no, he says, James may repeat it. Jesus says it like in the Sermon on the Mount.